Action.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Lucas Doss, Turkey Creek Productions, episode 4, Creekside Conversations.
Legitimately Creekside Conversation today.
We're actually on the creek. We're down here at Josh's lease. We came out and listened for turkeys this morning. We've heard quite a few.
Yeah, that one right there, I'm surprised we can't see him, to be honest.
Yeah, we saw him fly off the limb this morning, or I saw him fly off the limb. We pulled off on the side of the road on the pullout up here, and I think he was in a tree sitting there looking at us.
Yeah, he was roosted like 150 yards from the road, and we just heard something. It was his wings, and there he was. And he went over the back side of the ridge, and I think he's working his way back. I think he was probably going to pitch down into this field or possibly my food plot right here. And I think we screwed him up because whenever it got daylight, he saw two trucks and two guys standing there.
Yeah. You got a plot over here, winter rye?
I don't know what all's in it anymore. I know I planted turnips, clover, rye. I think some kind of radishes me and Luke talked about, but I don't remember what kind they were. They were ones that were supposed to grow a little faster than normal or something like that. I don't remember. That was a deer season problem, not the springtime.
Yeah. Have you checked on your plots that we planted out here in clover?
Nope, haven't been back out here since. I've been too busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. You've been traveling all over the place, and we're getting ready to get into that. But before we get into it, we got some new turkey hunting content on YouTube. Go check it out, Turkey Creek Productions. If you're listening to this and you haven't yet, go follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It's all Turkey Creek Productions. This is on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So go give us a follow. We'd really appreciate it. Go comment and, give us a review. Tell us if you like these or not. But we have new hats. Richardson 112 Ps. I have one on right now. They come in Bottomlands and Greenleaf. We have a local supplier, so the turnaround should be pretty quick. Pretty excited about that. They turned out pretty good. But if you want one, get a hold of us. We can get you one. We can ship it or meet up with you or whatever.
Good looking hats. I just don't look good in them.
Yeah. There's a group of people that I've found that the Richardson 112s either have a cult following or you absolutely hate them.
Yeah. I'm on the hating end.
Yeah.
They look good, just
not
on me.
Yeah.
I got too small of a head. We still have those 111s too. I think I have like 10 left to sell.
Yep.
It's basically the same hat, just it's not a leather patch and it's flexible like this Legacy hat.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I know we're trying to figure out the outdoor cap situation.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
We can also get them made in lost rope hats, the goat rope they call it.
Yeah,
so
those hats actually fit me.
We're trying to make a couple different designs and come out with a couple new hats this year.
Yeah.
So, anyway, sun's coming up. It's about 7:30. Turkeys are gobbling. It's beautiful down here on this creek this morning. It's kind of chillier than we thought it was going to be, but
perfect morning for gobbling.
Yeah.
I can't keep my eyes off this hillside.
Luke and Caleb are in Kentucky this morning. Luke killed yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, triple beard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I know Josh called him yesterday at 11:30 and fouled him up. He had a turkey strutting at 50 yards, and his watch answered his phone.
Yeah. That's my fault, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just checking on him. Hey, man, you alive? You heard anything? What's going on?
Your wife's birthday was yesterday.
Yeah. She's 30. I might have to go to the dealership and find me a new model.
Yeah, heard that. Speaking of trading it in, we traded in our car yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah. So my wife has been getting after me about us needing a bigger vehicle. She has a 4Runner right now, which I'm sure a lot of people will think is a big enough vehicle. And I'm a person who agrees that it is a big enough vehicle. One of the downfalls to the 4Runner is the air conditioner in the back seat is terrible.
Yeah. It's just like a
And
little tiny thing, isn't it?
yeah, they're pretty much like they're truck back seats.
Yeah.
Or not truck back seats, but it's a truck vent, like how you have a vent in the back seat of a full cab truck. And my 3-year-old, we were down at the beach 2 weeks ago, and it was probably 50 degrees here, but it was 80 degrees there. And so we're like driving around. We have this little tube. It's called a noggle. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but
I don't even know what that is.
it's like a coil pipe, and it runs air from the front of the car to the back. It's like a straight pipe of air. It's a flexible
what?
pipe. Huh?
What was it?
It's like a straight pipe of air. Like it's
I couldn't help it.
it's like a straight pipe of air, okay? It's like a inch pipe. So we're driving, and I turn around, and his face is beet red. And I'm like, buddy, are you hot? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. So we hooked the noggle up, and we had it hooked up all week. And
Did
it's
you hear
kind
that
of
turkey?
a pain.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pain. And we're driving home, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, dude, we're getting ready to have 2 of these noggles running to the back of this car. And then, like, we're going back to the beach in July, and it made me realize that, like, she's going to be sitting in between a toddler, a newborn, with 2 noggles on a bench seat. And that's kind of when I decided, like, yeah, we might need to look into getting a new car. So they're bringing it to the house today around 11. We traded in our 4Runner for a used Sequoia. We're not, we're buying on a budget over here. We're not buying brand new cars, but new to us.
Sequoia's
Yeah, it's a very nice.
A nice,
vehicle.
not truck vehicle though.
Yeah, she's what do they say? Champagne taste on a beer budget. So we bought a used, but it's a platinum limited leather interior, captain seats on the second row. So yeah, she's a bit bougie, but she's also tapered down quite a bit from when we first got married.
This is true.
Yeah, she bought a Mercedes just because it said Mercedes, I'm pretty sure. And then she realized that every 5,000 miles you had to spend $200 to maintenance the car. And she was like, oh, I can't afford that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's what I tried to tell you. Anyway, I'll transition a little bit. So you've been turkey hunting, what, probably 12 days.
No, I had to work a lot while I was gone, but I think up to 8 or 9.
8 or 9?
Which, I mean, it's not far off of 12, but...
Yeah. So you went down to South Carolina, which you mentioned in the last podcast. But tell us about your trip. Tell us, what'd you go down? What'd you do?
So I went down there to work with their CST, like I said in the last podcast, to work the Darlington NASCAR race. That was a fun time. Like, I know we've all been to NASCAR races for, like, I think it was your bachelor party, Hunter's bachelor party. I think we went one other time, and it's fun. But, like, where we were working it, I got to go, like, in the infield, and I sat on pit row, and we're doing bomb sweeps with the dogs. Maybe on the Saturday race, we did them every day, but maybe it was on the Saturday race. I actually got to hold the trophy. That was pretty cool. Like,
yeah, I saw that picture on Instagram.
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of the trip. Well, maybe the races, I guess.
You finally get to imagine yourself as a winner.
That's the only thing I won in South Carolina. I'll tell you that. I mean, that was some hard hunting.
Yeah.
Pit row was really cool though. Like, got to say Michael Jordan.
Really?
Yeah, like I was sitting from me to you for Michael Jordan.
Huh.
Like, he had no clue I was in the world, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, except for he was really pissed off.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, he was having a good time, but, like, he owns cars, and he ended up actually having the winning car because it's him and Denny Hamlin own a team, and Denny Hamlin won the race, but I think it was Tyler Reddick. I think that's who it was. It was one of his other drivers. I know that. He was in the lead with maybe 12 to go, and there was a wreck, and ended up losing the number one spot and stuff like that. And he was pissed.
Yeah.
It was just kind of funny seeing Michael Jordan pissed about NASCAR.
That's pretty funny. Like, I can imagine my my wife's uncles used to race
I remember
NASCAR,
that. Yeah.
and we talk about the expense of it. And did he wreck, or did he just drop out?
No. There was a wreck. It was actually Kyle Larson, and I can imagine why Michael Jordan was mad, but I understand why Kyle Larson went back out. Kyle Larson actually was the favorite to win. He wrecked on lap 5. And I think he ended up being like 150 laps down because he had to go to the garage. And then with 12 to go, he wrecked again and caused that caution. And so, the number one spot ended up being back to like number 5. And Michael Jordan was pretty pissed. At least that's what I assume he was pissed about. Like,
Hey, that's some nuts on a guy being 150 laps down and be like, I'm going to finish.
yeah, dude. Well, so like, it was actually really cool. So like, you know how we have like the West Virginia SRT team,
Yeah.
the SWAT, whatever. South Carolina is this SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Department, something like that. And I was with one of their bomb techs who's from somewhere in Europe. I don't know if it was England or what, but I don't know if he raced or was a part of a crew or something, but he was a Formula One guy. And dude, he taught me so much stuff about NASCAR. But he was saying that even being that many laps down, you will get points still. And so like later on in the playoffs, like each lap counts.
Yeah.
So like he could miss out on the playoff money. So he was like, yeah, I'm getting back out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll do it for dollar bills.
Yeah.
So, South Carolina hunting.
I know we talked about it in the last podcast about my tactics and stuff like that, and it was kind of the same. And got out there a day early. I guess it would have been the 2nd, and it was the night before their season, and I didn't have to be at the track till like 2 the next day. So went out, scouted, didn't find or hear anything, and then so the next morning I was like, well, I have plenty of time to go before I have to work, so still gonna go. I think I heard. No, I did not hear a single turkey that day. Didn't find anything until about 4 hours in. I was driving around, and just stopped at one spot and listened, walked in, walked out, drove to another spot, walked in, walked out, and it all looked good, sorta. But I finally found, after like 4 hours, one turkey track, and that was the first thing I saw. But dude, that WMA I was on, I forget what it's called, but it was all just planted pines. So it was all in a row. So it was like perfect square, and you could see for like 200-300 yards, and it was no underbrush. So it was hard to hide.
Dude, there's no underbrush in pines.
No.
Like, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of, yeah, that would be way different. Especially like in West Virginia, we use terrain brush. Like,
Yeah.
when we were in Kentucky last week, we had a turkey roosted 70 yards away from us, but the autumn olive was so thick on that ridgetop that had no idea we were even there. We were trying to figure out how it was going to come through the autumn olive.
Yeah, that's always miserable.
But there was a little gap. But yeah, that would make it really hard just because, how they see so well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very difficult, and it was windy, and those pines are so loud that like I ran into like 4 people, which I mean that sounds kind of like a lot, but it wasn't really because I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
And they were all talking about not hearing anything, and they've been hearing them like they'd been scouting that place, obviously, from South Carolina, and I think they hunted a lot. But they were like, yeah, up until today, I was hearing a bunch of birds, and they're like, we haven't heard a single one. I actually ran into a guy that was hunting, and he'd missed, yeah, he either missed it or hit it. I don't know. He said he's found a feather, but he never found the turkey. And he was telling me like all about like how good it had been up until that opening day. And I was like, oh,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. It was also 75 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that was,
Yeah.
75-degree day here. You're not going to hear a gobble.
Mm-mm.
There, it's kind of more normal. But so that was the third. And like I said, I had to work that day at 2 and then every other day. So that was Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I had to be at the track by like 7 o'clock, so I couldn't hunt. I could have hunted in the evenings, but like I wasn't getting back to the hotel until, I don't know. Well, the days of the race, actually, Saturday and Sunday, I didn't get back till like dark, so I couldn't hunt.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they had been like kind of in a cold snap. And I know because that week we were there, the temperatures were higher than they had been, like probably 10, 15-degree change.
Yeah.
So, that might have been a factor in it too. Because
Oh,
I know
yeah.
when we were down there, they were like, hey, this is the best weather we've had in 2 months. Like, it's
Yeah.
warm. This is beautiful. And then I think it was supposed to cool back down after we left.
It did. So Monday it was a little colder, and that was the day I had the turkey sneak up behind me. And then a big rainstorm came in at like noon. And then it was like 40 and 38 on Tuesday and Wednesday. I came home Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah. So you had a turkey sneak up behind you.
Yeah, so Monday morning I went back to where I had originally started, I guess Thursday, and just went out there, walked a little further because
Is it like
it
where you
looked...
found the track?
No, I was going to go to where I found the track, but I'm trying to think of why I didn't go. I think it was because the route it was wanting to take me, I'd never been, and like a lot of their roads on that WMA were sand.
Yeah.
So
Didn't get
like
stuck
I
up.
didn't want to get stuck and be like in the dark.
Yeah.
So I went to where I knew, and it looked good for turkeys, I thought. So went back there, didn't hear anything, then went straight there. But I came in on the backside, and that's why I didn't go there in the morning, because I hadn't been on that backside. And I came in, it was probably, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I started walking, made it down a ravine and back up the other side, and found some turkey scat. And I was like, okay, well, like, I found a track in this area, some poop, so I was like, there's turkeys here. So I maybe went like another 400 yards up. Once I got up to that ravine, it kind of like funneled down and back up subtly. So I was like kind of on the top, and there was a little bit of brush behind me. So I'd walked up, put the decoy out, and just sat there, and I was like, I'll stay here for an hour and hopefully hear something in some direction and make a move. I think I sat there maybe 30 minutes and was like, all right, well, I'm not hearing anything. So I didn't have a face mask on. Camera was turned off. Another 15 minutes goes by. I just hit a soft yelp. Nothing. Maybe 10 more minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get up. And I was like, nah, I'll sit here for another 10 minutes, make a call. If I don't hear anything, I'll just move on. And as I'm sitting there, again, those pines, it's windy. I couldn't hear very well. And
Quiet under pines anyway.
Huh?
Quiet under pines anyway.
Yeah, but like the upper parts were like whooshing.
Oh,
So
swishing
like,
back and
yeah. And like they're real wispy. So like it's just like a whoosh.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and, I got my legs crossed, like stretched out, my gun's in my lap, like nothing's ready. And I just heard, and I was like, was that a spit? I'm like, no way. Like I haven't heard a turkey. I found one track and one pile of crap. Like there's no way I just heard a turkey spit. And like, I'm thinking this turkey's like 30 yards behind me. And that, again, the only cover I had was behind me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to turn my head like as slow as I can over my left shoulder. Again, no face mask. So that was really stupid. So I'm sitting there like looking out of the corner of my eye as hard as I can, and about, I don't know, 15 yards, there's a turkey in half strut walking, and I'm like, oh shit, like he's right there, and as you can see, big long beard, and I was like, well, I hope he keeps walking the direction he's going, because he's kind of like walking from my right to left, and he's gonna come out of the brush in like maybe 20 more yards, but again, he's only 15, 12, somewhere in there, and I'm looking, and right as he gets to the edge of the thicker stuff, like I don't want to call it thick, but like from whatever everything else, like I can see 200 yards, and here it's pretty thick. So I'm like, oh no, okay, how am I gonna do this? Like, can't turn on him because I've got like this little sapling right here, but there's a huge tree, probably like, I think it was like 15 yards right here. And if he steps out, or if he steps behind it, I can pull my gun up, and then he'll step out in front of it, and it'll be wide open. And I'm like, all right, perfect. He got right to that tree and started angling directly away from me, and then back into the thicket. And he wasn't like spooked, but obviously he wasn't strutting anymore. So I was like, well, I don't want to spin on him and not be able to get a shot and scare him out of the country. So I just sat there. Think he got to like 60 yards and popped over the hill. So I waited 30, 40 minutes, and maybe not even that long, maybe 20 or 30, and just packed my stuff up, walked directly away from him, and made a big loop. Set up maybe 3 other times, just doing some soft yelping, never saw him again. And then that storm was coming in, and dude, it was bad. Like the wind picked up to like 20, 30 mile an hour. And right as I got to my truck and like got all my stuff situated, it started downpouring, and it did not stop till like 11 o'clock that night.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So how big was the tree you were sitting on?
Probably about the same size as me. Like it was a decent setup. Like
Yeah.
if that turkey came from any other direction, quiet, dead turkey.
Well, and that's I think I talked to Luke about it, and I'm trying to paint a picture. Like, imagine a tree has 4 sides, right? Like, I know it's round, but imagine a tree has 4 sides. Like, you're set up on any of those. If you're set up on any other spot than where you're at, like, you're probably okay.
No.
No?
Yeah, he would have seen me faster if I set up on any other side.
So you don't think that if he would have been setting up where you were facing the direction he was coming?
Oh, well, yeah, but I would have been facing like into the only thick part of.
Yeah.
And like obviously, if you're going to set up and you're wanting to see stuff, like
Yeah.
and that's the direction I just walked in from.
Okay. So he kind of came the way you came from.
Yeah, like we kind of like angled like this towards each other.
Okay. See, in my mind, I was thinking like, if you set up on, let's say the direction you were facing is south, if you would have set up on the north or the east side of that tree.
No, because if I would have set up.
But you came from pretty much north or northwest.
Yeah, let's just say I was facing north. I came from like southeast, and he came from like southwest.
Okay.
Yeah. At least I assume he may have came from directly the way I came from.
Yeah. But the
and
way
again,
he was
I had
angling makes you think that. Yeah.
But I had a Jake decoy out, and I think that's what he saw, and was strutting and spitting. But then he saw my face.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think if you would have had your mask on, different story?
Maybe, but again, like the turkey's 12 yards. Like,
Yeah.
it's wide open. Like I had snipped some of that brush and like stuck it in the ground around me. But I still think like a turkey at 12 yards in those wide open pines, you're kind of sitting in no man's land no matter what.
Do you think that hunting in a place like that where it's so open that it makes sense to carry one of those little packaway blinds? Like one of those little Ameristep like 3-panel blinds? Or do you think that that's just kind of too much to carry? I mean, I know a bunch of people carry a bunch of stuff, and I know that you carry decoys. I'll carry a decoy. They still weigh pretty small. You put them in your back, but is
Yeah,
it
I
too much
used to
of a
carry one. Like, it was a Primos one that was like mesh, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, it was 3D mesh. And I carried that for a long time. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to set up all the time. So I just quit using it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It may have been the right call, but I didn't know. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that open.
Yeah.
And like the Wednesday I hunted at that WMA, it was way more like here. Like, there was still a lot of pines, but it was like oaks mixed in with pines and stuff, and it was actually like hilly terrain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like that place, you could kill a turkey in there for sure. I just didn't hear any the day I went.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
So you hunted there 5 days?
4.
4?
Yeah. Scouted 1, hunted 4.
And then you came home to cut your grass.
I did. Well, so I guess I'll talk about Tuesday. So after the rain hit, Monday I was actually supposed to drive to Columbia and meet back up with those guys from South Carolina CST, and we were supposed to go to the range on Monday. But the rain was coming in, so obviously we didn't want to go shoot in the pouring rain. So I was like, well, instead of me trying to find a new place up around Columbia, I'm going to stay here another night in Florence and then drive back up, because it was like a 45, 50-minute drive from the hotel. So I stayed there again and went back where I had seen that turkey. And I was running a little late. I was trying to get there before daylight, and every other day I got there right at daylight, just because I didn't know where they were going to gobble from. So why walk, 2 miles in, and then there might be one 50 yards from your truck. You never know. Like today, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know.
Yeah. I'd already drove down here once today.
Yeah. And, here I wouldn't do that. Like, here I'm usually set up before,
Yeah.
or at least somewhere where I can get set up. But
Yeah,
I'm
you have
familiar.
an idea of-
Yeah. So Tuesday I was familiar with the area at this point, and I was going to get on the back side of where he came from. So like I had parked maybe a half mile to a mile up the road, and I parked further back and came in from a different angle because there was a big knoll. And when I'd set up the second or third time, I found like a real pretty field that was on the edge of some thicker woods, but still pretty open. And I thought, well, if I can get there in the morning, hear him early and make a move. Well, I was running late. It was right at gobbling time when I was getting ready at the truck. And I was like, which, still no big deal, because don't know where they're at. And I thought I heard a gobble, but my head was in the truck. And I was like, still hadn't heard a gobble at this point at all. So I'm like, maybe I'm just hearing things. So I like hustle and bustle, get down the ridge, back up the other side. And as soon as I like got stood and like listened for a second, I heard the gobble again. I was like, where was that at? Like, it was far, but not too far. And sat there for a minute, hooted, they gobbled again. I was like, oh, wow. It ended up being 4 of them. And they were on the other side of the road from my truck. So I had to go back down, back up the other side, cross the road. And they had hens with them. So there was a little ravine that I was on one side and they were on the other. And I, thought could definitely call them across. And they ended up flying down and going to my left and bordering private. And I just couldn't keep up with them. And I couldn't go around them because it was so open, and everywhere I would get, they could see me if I tried to make a move. And I think the closest I got was like maybe 150, and they were just moving.
Yeah.
I can walk kind of fast, and these turkeys stayed ahead of me the whole time.
They knew where they were going.
Yeah. And dude, I ended up walking like 3 miles with these turkeys from my truck, and I think probably about 9 o'clock they quit gobbling. And I could have stayed there longer. I think I left at like 10:30 because I had to meet those guys in Columbia that day.
Yeah.
At like 12:30, and it was like an hour and a half drive. So I was like, these turkeys really aren't doing it. And at that point, I hadn't heard them in 2 hours. So I was like, they could be, 50 yards over the hill, or they could be a mile away. The way they were going, I was like, well, okay, I'm just gonna get out of here. And went, dude. We shot a lot of pistol rounds that day. It was actually really fun. He shoots for the South Carolina National Guard shooting team.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like just training and stuff, and it was fun. I hadn't really shot my pistols bad until I got in front of him, and I was like, they were just paper targets, and I think we were shooting at like 15, and we were doing drills and like 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, and they were in the chest and in the head, but not in the circles we were aiming at all the time. And then he was drilling them, and I was like, God bless. Like, I'm looking like a jackass. And then we went over and shot some steel targets, and it was like a night and day switch. He was like, dude, I don't know what it is against the paper that you have, but like, you can hit steel. Like, there was like 10 or 12 steel targets, and I could hit all 12 of them. And I was like, dude, what? And again, I wasn't missing the paper target, but I wasn't hitting where I wanted. And then, on steel, all you're listening for is that clang after.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. But then hung out with them, did their podcast, the Carolina Tactics Group podcast, I think we talked for like 2.5 hours. So that night, I ended up staying at his house on the couch and then drove to, I think it was called Liberty Hill WMA. It was like 55 minutes, and then the other place was like an hour and 20. And I was going home that day, and it was an hour faster to leave from that Liberty Hill, and it was, a lot longer to go from the other place. So I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll try this other place. And dude, that was some of the prettiest turkey woods I've ever been in.
Yeah, those pictures are really nice.
Yeah.
You found that truck tucked way back in the woods.
Yeah, it had a tree growing through the hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you post that picture that morning, and I thought, man, I hope he shoots a turkey
Oh,
here.
dude.
The pictures would be beautiful.
Yeah. I ended up walking a lot that day. I think I did like 7.5 miles, but I didn't hear a single bird. It was windy again, but I found a lot of tracks and a lot of poop there. And there was like, it was a lot more like here. It was a lot of ridge tops.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, again, it was a lot of pines, but it had like a lot of oaks. It was a lot more like here. And then they had done a burn in the last year. So like the whole underneath was real green. It was really pretty. And then 2 of the different ridge tops I'd walked out had 3 food plots each. And there was like clover rye mix. And
Like that the SCDNR did?
I believe so. Yeah. And they were beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I sat probably for an hour in each of them, because every time I was on the road by one, I'd find a bunch of tracks, and they were gobbler tracks. So I was like, I'm going to sit here because there's turkeys here, obviously, but ended up not seeing anything. I think if I'd have spent another day there, maybe.
Caught up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bailey was ready for me to come home.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too is like I was going to come home Thursday. So I came home Wednesday because Thursday it was absolutely supposed to piss the rain. And then I was leaving Friday morning to go to Brian's, and the grass was super tall. So I was just like, I'll go home and cut the grass.
Super Tall is a bit of a dramatization, because I was there Tuesday.
Dude, it's super tall to me.
Well,
I'm a nut about my yard.
Not saying it's not super tall to you, but I was there Tuesday, and I thought, man, the grass looks pretty good.
Yeah. No, not to my standards. But yeah, then Friday drove to Brian's, and we went to the farm that he has that's like 900 acres, but it's a lot of, agriculture.
Yeah.
And he was there.
Cut a bunch of trees there, haven't they?
What is it?
They've cut a bunch of trees there, haven't they? Or is that a different farm?
No, that's that farm, but not where we were.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 2 to 3 different parcels.
Okay.
And like, or maybe it's just 2, but like you can get to it. I mean, it's 900 acres. You can get to it from a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But we went to the smaller one, which I forget how many acres it is, and there's not very many trees there. Like where we set up on Saturday was like the only place you could set up. And he'd had a picture Friday morning of a gobbler and a hen at, I think it was 6:49 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we went there Friday night and hooted, didn't hear anything, but I think it was windy, which is, dude, that's been the story. Like, other than today, it's been windy as crap for like a month. But,
Weather's been weird, that's for sure.
yeah, the turkeys have been weird,
Mm-hmm.
but it could be because of the weather. I don't know. But went there and hooted, didn't hear anything, so we drove to the big part of the farm where he'd went maybe like 2 weeks ago and heard a bunch. Went there that evening, didn't hear anything, so we were like, well, we'll go to where the turkey was on camera on Friday morning. We'll go there Saturday morning. Ended up getting there way before daylight, set up, and we heard one or two, we couldn't tell, but it was like down the bottom and out this cornfield, which was pretty overgrown. He'd said like since the last time he'd been there, it'd grown from like ankle deep to probably close to knee deep. And I don't know if that had the turkeys messed up or what, but
Yeah.
it was also really cold that day. Like it like was, but wasn't. It was just so windy that it was cold. Like it was,
But
it was
that
probably low
grass height,
40s.
like that's like that pasture that I have over at the farm by the house, and every year it's a hayfield, but every year, all March and the first week of April, they're strutting in that field, like just every single morning. And around the second week of April, that grass gets just high enough that they stop.
Yeah, they don't like to be tall in tall grass. I know that.
Yeah. So that definitely could be why they.
Yeah. Which the big farm was like that too. And yeah, so we sat there till like 8:30, and Brian actually saw a hen probably like 200 yards running away from us. I don't know if we spooked it or it's hard to tell. Like, I didn't see it. It was behind us. He just happened to be looking at me and saw it run up the hill. But then we drove over to the big farm, and there was 3 trucks there at every place we went. Well, we went to 2 places. There was 2 at one and 1 at another. And Brian wanted to go to the National Forest, and I was like, okay, it's fine. But it was like an hour drive. It was already probably 9:30. And I was like, dude, you can only hunt till noon in Virginia, I believe. But it was already 9:30, and I was like, dude, why don't we just go back to where we know there's a turkey? Like, he's somewhere around there. Like,
Yeah, we heard him.
yeah, and never did hear him, so we hunted till like, I don't know, 11:30, and decided to call it. We went and played golf. That was actually really fun. And then Sunday, we went to the farm that he has permission that he was deer hunting, where that big 180 was.
Yeah.
And that's where we should have killed one Saturday and Sunday last year, and he came to like 60 yards and then just stayed there and then turned around and left. So we went back there, hooted, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, didn't hear anything, moved around, hooted, heard one maybe 500 yards off, and we were like, all right, well, that's a turkey. So start going that direction. But normally, Brian, he is shit and get, like,
Yeah.
and it actually kind of threw me for a loop because he was very, very patient. Like, there's a nice, pretty set of woods and then like a pine patch. I don't want to call it a thicket because it's not super thick, but it's definitely not like South Carolina. Like, it is, you could sit down and like actually hide in these pines. And then that's like kind of skirts this hillside. And then when you go down, it's a big creek bottom, and it's beautiful down there. And so we get to the edge of the pines on the close side, and it's pretty light at this point. So Brian's like, well, I'm going to whip out a crystal call and, just kind of give him some cuts and tree calls just to see if there's anything else close. Because once you cross the creek, there's another big ridge system, and it's beautiful over there too. And we thought, well, there should be a turkey over there. Didn't hear anything. So we're like, oh, crap. So we start back towards that turkey, and at this point we're probably 400 yards from this turkey. We get another 200 yards up, maybe even 100, like, and he hits the call again. Nothing. Boom, another turkey. And this turkey's like across the creek, 200 yards. We're like, oh shoot, like we're in the game on this one. So we go down into the bottom, and Brian's like, I'm sitting here thinking we have plenty of time, because like this turkey's across the creek. Like usually they're kind of slow about crossing a big creek, and the creek's bigger than this probably. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, okay, let's set the decoys out. And Brian's like, no, I don't think we can. And as we're sitting there talking about it, he gobbled, and he was on our side of the creek already. And I was like, oh shoot, like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, we sit down, and Brian gets adjusted. I had the camera to my left. I'm like, well, I'm gonna put it in between us. That way, if it goes right, you can shoot, I can film. If it goes left, I can shoot, you can film. He's like, all right. So I hit the record button. He gobbled again, and he was like directly in front of us at like 100 yards. And I was like, oh crap. And then boom, there he was, like strutting, working from right to left. And he was, kind of going on a straight line. And I told Brian to call, so he turned away and projected his mouth call to go back towards our right, just real soft. He hammered on it and turned and just started sprinting in, like 3/4 strut, sprinting. Maybe made it to like 30 yards, slowed down, spit, and then funneled in maybe to 20, 25. And Brian's like, are you going to shoot him? I was like, yeah, like I really wanted Brian to shoot, but if he'd have shot, he may have blown the camera off, may have blown my eardrum out. Like, it was just, I was in a way better position to shoot. So he came out of strut and kind of did like one of these numbers, and I know he was just looking, but like our decoys were out of the bags beside the tree, and like to the left of me gets real open, and then if he goes back to the right it gets real thick. And I was like, I kind of think I got to shoot him because I don't want him to get spooked. And Brian's like, well, I can't see him in the camera. And at this point I'm like already leaned out, and I'm like, dude, I've already hunted like 7 days this week. This is the closest I've had a turkey that I've had the shotgun on. I'm blasting him. Yeah. So I shot him, and he was a pretty cool turkey. I mean, really, really pretty fan. And then his spurs were probably my favorite part. Like, they weren't but maybe an inch, but like they were very blonde and ivory looking. Mm-hmm. And then the very tips of them were dark black.
Yeah.
It was really pretty.
Yeah. It was a really pretty turkey.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of my favorites. Like, and to be honest, like, it wasn't one of my favorite hunts because I didn't get to enjoy it like as much as you normally do. Like, from the time we sat down and I hit record to the time I pulled the trigger was 2 minutes and like 38 seconds.
Yeah. What time was this?
7:30, 8 o'clock.
Oh, so it was real early.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I talked to Brian about it, and he said that gobbler I shot in 2021, the one that came like just sprinting in,
mm-hmm.
He said that it was running the same speed as that turkey. He said just like it was absolutely getting it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know what you mean about getting to enjoy it. Like when those happen real fast. It was like the second one I shot last year. Like we popped up in that, stood right in the tree line outside
mm-hmm.
of that gas line, and then that turkey gobbled, and then like it was kind of just like, all right, it's over. Like,
yeah.
Those real fast ones. They're a lot of fun. They're really exciting.
Yeah, that one was really fun, but you at least got to like enjoy it a little bit. Like you got to see them come out in the open, strut in, and they kind of worked in. They didn't run in, and like that turkey was on a mission to get where we had last called from. Yeah. Like he was heading there, and whenever he heard us down and further to the right, I guess he thought that we were on the move, and he was like, I've got to get there.
Yep.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was really fun and really exciting. Like, it was a fun, awesome hunt, but I don't know, man. and I may have panicked because that's probably the first turkey I've not killed on a decoy in years.
Yeah.
And just the luck I'd been having this year, I was like, I can't let this turkey get bugged out.
Yeah. Man, I don't blame you. I don't
Yeah.
blame you one bit. Like we make these videos because it's fun, but we're hunting.
Yeah.
Like we're we try to do the best that we can, but we're hunting. We're here to
Yeah.
we're here to
I'm there to
sex.
shoot a turkey.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, if we get it on video, that's great.
yeah.
But we're there to shoot turkeys.
It is kind of funny though, because I think I was talking to Luke or Brian about this. Last year, there was 2 turkeys that I filmed that I could not see the monitor over my shoulder, Brian's and Luke's, and somehow got them in the center of the frame.
Yeah.
Like, now granted, they weren't quite in focus, but like the fact that I even pointed it in the right direction. And then we've got this one that we filmed come in, and I mean, it's in the center of the frame. Just there's a tree that covers the whole turkey.
Yeah.
And like I actually had to lean around another tree. Like, I don't want to say like lean all the way, but I definitely had to move just to get the bead on his neck. Like,
Yeah.
which I pulled a U. I didn't shoot his beard off, but I definitely hit him in the breast a lot more than I thought I did.
Listen, till you shoot one in full strut and shoot its beard off, you haven't experienced excitement.
Dude, that was dumb.
Dude, I got jacked up, man.
I mean, yeah.
I was torqued up. And then the other thing to that video doesn't show is he had 2 hens with him, and they were quartering at us, and we had like a little blind material made.
Yeah.
And the guy I was with said, "Those hens are getting ready to see you. Those hens are getting ready to see you."
Yeah.
So I was like, and I had lost them because there's a little drain, a roll in the hill, and I thought that they were further behind me. So it was one of those things that I didn't want them to get spooked. So I shot him before they had the opportunity. Go back in the video, look. Those hens were just down in the roll because when I shot, they jumped up out of the ditch.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had more time. We could have really let him beat up on that decoy.
Well, and also that goes to experience too. Like, that turkey that you shot was locked into that Jake decoy.
Yeah.
So even if those hens spooked, his focus isn't on those hens. And once they spook, his focus will maybe change to those hens.
Yeah, but he's not going to take off full bore.
Yeah, not fast enough that you can't get a shot at, what was it, 18 yards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, he definitely would have popped out a strut and looked.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, it's still game over.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I definitely understand, like, shooting them when you're excited and, like, thinking, oh, wow, like, I thought he sat in front of the decoy for, like, 5 minutes, and it was actually, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't get a kill one the year before. I broke my foot.
Yeah.
And in the same spot, I'd had a guy walk out behind me out of the woods.
Yep.
Spooked 2 hens. And I mean, I don't want to say it's the same turkey, but, turkey pitched down pretty much out of the same tree, came the same direction that this turkey came, and 2 hens spooked.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, yeah, this joker ain't getting out of here.
Yeah. That's like opening day of 23. We were on this hillside, and I knew there was 3 gobblers on this hillside. Get up there, and we didn't set up before dark because I wasn't sure how far they were going to be away, but we were on the same level that they had been on, because I've been out here like 3 weeks every day scouting.
Yeah.
Like, not scouting, but listening. And had them on a cell camera, like, passing through on this one road every morning. And so, like, get there, and they're just not gobbling. And I'm like, crap. Well, then one starts gobbling on this hillside. So me and Luke go down, back up the other side. We actually didn't even get up on the main level that we wanted to because that turkey had moved so far that we couldn't get up there, and he ended up being like closer than that turkey that just gobbled.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but that joker is right there.
Dude, he's just on that point right there.
Mhm.
Like, God, I can't wait till Monday.
Dude.
Like,
Like I'm not saying, don't get this twisted, because turkey hunting is not easy, but we could have killed that bird today.
yeah, like I know exactly how to get there and set up on that turkey.
I mean, that was pretty close.
Yeah. And dude, I'm real fired up about this because, like normal, I'm here every day for like a month before season,
Yeah.
before work, and where I've been gone since like really since January.
Mhm.
I haven't been out here. February 28th was the last day I was out here, and that's the day we frost seeded.
Yep.
And so to come out here and, I knew there's always turkeys out here, but honestly, I'm surprised we didn't hear any back over here. Like that kind of blows my mind. But this turkey being this close has got me like,
Yeah.
oh yes, like
I'm waiting to see him pop out.
I'm waiting on him to pitch down like over top of our trucks into this field because I know that that's where he's trying to get to.
So
Oh yeah, so we got over here and actually the turkey was a lot closer, and we ended up just hitting the deck and putting the decoys out and backed up maybe, dude, like 15 yards and got into the first bush we found. But he came over the top, saw the decoy, came running down, and I let him whip up on it a minute, but like he hit it a couple times and then was like sitting there kind of like stuck his neck out, and I shot him in the I shot his beard off. That was the first turkey I shot with TSS though.
yeah.
No, it wasn't. I think the Virginia turkey. Yeah.
You know that TSS pattern though, like, it's tight.
Yeah.
It's tight.
I think I aimed low because he was so close though.
Mhm.
And then like this one I shot.
When you
What was
sight
that,
your
Sunday?
red dot in, how far away are you?
25.
25?
Yeah.
So I was 0-30.
To be honest,
Oh.
I used to do 20 and 40,
Mhm.
but TSS is too expensive.
Yeah.
And really, most of the time my decoys are at like 20 yards.
Yeah.
So just 25 is usually what I do.
Yeah.
But 25 is dead center base of the neck.
Yeah.
If I was doing 30, it'd be neck, head area.
Yeah.
This turkey's got me
I see
jacked
him.
up. Do you really?
I really do. He's right here. Yeah, I'm looking right at him.
Is he strutting?
No,
Dang.
he's coming.
Like down the hill?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Dude, I know that only like 70 to 100 people are going to watch this podcast, but it's going to be really hard for people to like enjoy this middle part of this because we're just going to be watching this turkey. Does he
See him
like
yet?
to? No. See that blue marker in the autumn olive? Like,
Rope.
dude, where is he at? And this is crazy because I normally find turkeys like super easy, but I think he's in the thick stuff for me.
No, he's not.
Like, no, from my angle.
So you see that dead tree that's fell over?
The big one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Look straight up, but don't go to the top of the hill. You see that, what kind of tree is that? It looks like a beech tree.
No.
The big double. It's got a V in it in the top. Or maybe it's two trees coming together.
Are you sure it's not a poplar or a maple?
Oh, yeah, it's a
Oh,
poplar.
yeah, I see him. You want me to turn the camera around on him? Nah, that'd be hard to find him and all that. See if you can hoot at him. Yeah, move your mic. Of course.
I'll say this is exactly what we wanted to happen.
It literally is. Like, that's what actually I was going to say. Like, the people are going to be distracted, but this is like the coolest podcast we could ever do. Minus, like,
Not being able to shoot the turkey.
well, that or like having some special guest on it.
What phone do you have?
Uh,
Is it a Pro or a Pro Max?
it's a Pro, but it's in my truck.
Well, that'll show them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have service down here, so like, I don't think I'm allowed to use my phone today, anyways. After Luke yelled at me.
Yeah, definitely not. Hey, what's up, guys? We're out here. Josh is filming a podcast, and we heard a turkey gobble off the point that we listened to this morning, and he just popped out. We could see him. I'm not sure if I can see him right in through here, but he's like great.
I lost him.
He's like right there.
Dude, and that turkey's so killable. He doesn't have a hen, just gobbling by himself. Like, he's just looking for love.
Dude, he popped out on that hillside, and that iridescence from his feathers just like
Yeah.
absolutely popped. It was.
So I was looking way more left.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, turkey hunting is not easy at all, but we would have killed that turkey today.
Yeah. Except for like the odds of a turkey being roosted right there are so slim
Oh, I see him.
that I would have never set up there, or I would have been so far back on this hillside up here
Yeah.
that by the time I got down here,
You see him. Dude, look at that rope.
no, I don't see.
Good.
I think he's behind the tree.
No, he's back in the same spot as he was that I told you the first time, but he's up the hill a little bit further, like towards the. There's green leaves, but he's just standing there.
Oh yeah, I see him now. I see his head's pretty red, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's putting at us.
Is there a hen over in this field? Do you hear that?
I've been
Are
hearing
those-
that all day. I don't know what it is.
Are those guineas?
Well, I hate that we spooked him, but there's kind of nothing we could do. Like, we're literally in the creek bed.
Well, it probably would have helped if I wouldn't have hooted at him.
Eh.
Did he just putt again?
Yeah, he's putting walking up the hill. See, we spooked that turkey more than I spooked the turkey in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is crazy because we're like 200 yards from that turkey. Maybe 150.
Well, It's 8:30. Been going for an hour now.
Yeah.
Sun's up. What a good morning.
Literally.
I mean, heard turkeys gobble. We got to see.
Big ol' long beard.
Big old long beard. I know you guys couldn't see it, but he had 2-inch hooks.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll show you Monday.
So you guys are getting to hunt what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Are you leaving Friday?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely hunting Monday. But we have 2 PT tests this week, and I have to grade. So,
Yeah.
of course, it'll be like,
Is Cole running?
I don't know. I'm sure he'll try to finagle his way out of that since he just came back from, what was it, ALC? Yeah, and he had to take a PT test
You
there.
want to take a bet that he's going to... There he goes. He's pitching down to that field. Dude, that's cool.
Dude, me and Brian were driving to the National Forest on Sunday after I killed mine, and we're driving, and all of a sudden, I swear to God, a Jake flies right across the road in front of us. Like, if it wasn't as high as it was, would have hit it with the truck. Like, that's the timing we had. We stopped, and like I could see his head was red, and we stopped, and I looked, and he turned, and he just had a little tiny beard, so we just kept driving. Which I don't know if we were actually on National Forest at that point yet.
But what do you want to bet Cole takes paternity leave this week so he doesn't have a PT test? Somehow, his kid is 7 months old, and he still has paternity leave.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Like, I've thought about having a kid just so I can take off all of deer season.
Yeah. Yeah. Except it's a little different after you have a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, look, a wood duck.
Are you serious?
Turn around.
Oh, my. Big old Drake. You probably got that in camp.
Yeah,
Maybe not. Dude, what a day.
Nature.
Creekside Conversations.
Welcome to Creekside Conversations. But yeah, so you guys are heading to Washington this next week.
Yeah, Friday. Literally a week from today.
Yeah.
So
Caleb leaves Wednesday.
yeah, I don't remember why he's going out early.
He has something to. He has to come back 2 days early because something with the new command role he took.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Sergeant.
No, you'd say, okay, sir, you goon.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Sergeant. Well, that'll be a fun trip. We'll have a podcast. I think we're going to try to get a couple more headsets so that we can have a podcast with everybody talking about Washington.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I definitely get to hunt Monday.
Oh, look, a turkey.
Are you shitting me? Oh, shit. That's a Jake. No, that's another longbeard. Son of a bitch. Dude, I should not have stood up. I told you they were coming to this food plot. Well, I wish it wasn't 2 days before season and just scared 2 gobblers. I thought it was a Jake, and he turned because, like, I could see his beard, but it looked like it was only like this, and then he turned, and it was just real thin, and it was...
Dude, I saw it had a red head.
Yeah. When it flew, because I was looking out of the corner of my eye.
It flew right there.
Dude, like, I could have blasted it. It was only like 40 yards.
Yeah. I might have that on video.
What is going on today?
So, all right. Yeah, but we're going to have everybody on to talk about Washington, which that'll be That'll be fun. There is one thing that I want to talk about before we get off of the podcast, before we sign off for the day. We had a TikTok video that went, I don't want to say it went viral.
It
but
went pretty viral.
It's at like 500,000. Like, it's small viral if it went viral. But anyway, Luke makes some comments about, his thought on reaping turkeys. And I just want to make a comment on that real quick. Obviously, if you've been listening to these, we all have different opinions on using decoys and fans and different turkey tactics. We don't care if you use decoys. We don't care if you reap turkeys. We don't care how you decide to legally fill your tag. We personally don't care. But what we do care about is making sure that the resources available as the years go on, we do have pretty interesting opinions. But these are conversations that we have amongst ourselves. Like, these things that we're posting on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, these are all conversations we have amongst ourselves. Like, Brian's not the biggest fan of baiting deer. I would say that he's almost completely against it. Caleb doesn't like baiting deer, but he hunts mostly public. I don't care. Josh doesn't care. Luke doesn't care.
And I don't like it, but in a state like West Virginia and Ohio,
yeah, if you have
if
private, like
your neighbor, like I don't know how many times
yourself.
I've gone on this hillside and been on the property line and looked over 40 yards and there is a yellow brick road of corn.
No.
And I try to do food plots and stuff, and obviously the deer like it, but they're still going to go to the corn too. So like I'll put corn in random places here that I don't even hunt.
Yeah. So just to recap, we don't care how you legally fill your tags. We don't care if you reap turkeys. We don't care if you decoy turkeys. Luke just doesn't like it. The reaping aspect of it. Why? He just doesn't. I think that
his reason is the same as mine. Like, it's not. I think he goes a little bit more in depth. Like, it's easier to kill a turkey, but like, he and I both feel that when we're turkey hunting, we want that turkey to be in its most natural. I don't know. Position. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but when we hunt turkeys, we want to kill a turkey doing turkey things.
Yeah.
And like, obviously if you're reaping a turkey, he's going to see that fan and do a turkey thing, but like, you're forcing his reaction. Like, we like calling a turkey in and he's coming looking for the hen, which is still semi unnatural, but like, he's coming to you, not you going to him, like, and forcing that. Because like, I don't know how many times like I've had a turkey hang up in a field at like 80 yards.
Yeah.
But if you're walking towards him with a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are some laws that specifically say that even if you're using a decoy, not a fanning decoy, but just a decoy, you're not allowed to make a move towards the turkey with a decoy. Like, I think that one's specifically in Michigan.
I think South Carolina too, but that was like a new year,
but
new
there's
this
no
year.
reaping at all in South Carolina.
Yes. That was a new law this year, I believe.
We asked the question because it's a question worth asking. Like, what is your all's opinion? And I think the reason that it went viral is because Luke mentioned turkey decline, but just to be clear, none of us think that turkey decline has anything to do with hunters. We do believe that fanning turkeys is allowing people to fill their tags that probably typically wouldn't fill their tags.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, I know I've said this 3 times. We keep talking about it. We don't care how you hunt. We don't care what you do, as long as you're legally filling tags. We have a certain way that we like to do it, but even each of us individually have a certain way that we like to do it. Like, if you don't like to do it that way, don't. If you only have 2 days to hunt and you want to go out and shoot a spike, shoot a spike. Like, I don't care. Like, congratulations. Like, it's exciting. Like, you went out and you got meat and you harvested a deer, or you went out and you saw a turkey in a field and you pulled your fan out and you crawled to him and you reaped that turkey. Like, congratulations. You still shot a turkey.
Yeah.
That being said,
Don't rape turkeys.
like,
I'm just kidding.
and I'm not a great turkey hunter. Like, I'm not. But if the only way that you're killing turkeys is reaping turkeys, we're going to make fun of you a little bit. It's like, my favorite turkey call is sitting right here. And, you know, you guys should see our group chat, because, like, I get, like, around turkey season, I get roasted almost every day. Like, and I'm trying to learn to be better, but I'm still getting made fun of every day by my friends. Like, a lot of you people just need to learn how to take a joke. And it hurt a lot of people's feelings. And I'll just be honest, we're not sorry. But a lot of you people don't know how to read either, because you didn't read the caption that said, "Do you think it's fair chase or not?" Like, you just said that, you know, Luke squats when he pees. Luke wants to have sex with Joe Biden. You know, Luke's a Democrat. Like, this guy doesn't limit out on turkeys. And I'm sure if you're listening to this, dude, Luke sounds like a turkey. Luke might be part turkey.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
When
Like,
I listen to him turkey call, it makes me mad.
dude,
Because he sounds so good, and he doesn't understand. He's like, "Why are y'all mad at me?" It's like, we're not mad at you. We're mad at how much that you sound like a turkey. He just absolutely loves turkeys.
well, what gets me about Luke is when we first started turkey hunting together, not that he was a bad turkey caller, but I would put him on a level. I've gotten better the last 2 years, but prior to that, I obviously wasn't a bad turkey hunter or turkey caller, but Luke was probably around the same in calling.
Mm-hmm.
And something in that last few years, he sounds like a completely different turkey. Like,
He sounds like a couple different turkeys.
Like a legitimate turkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, that is really awesome.
It is really awesome. Like, and if you go into a couple of our videos, you can really hear, like, his progression from, like, 2020 to now.
Yeah.
You can hear how different he sounds. And we have a turkey playlist on YouTube. If you guys want to go back and, like, find Luke's hunts, you can watch them. But, like, the progression that he has made to sound like a turkey, and he, you know, I'll say every month, but October and November, he's walking around. He's got a turkey call stashed in his cheek.
That's wrong. October, November, he'll still have one in, because he'll be walking to the deer stand and going, and he's like, his thing was when he was hunting Bobby Fischer, he was trying to sound like a turkey walking through the woods so he wasn't spooking Bobby Fischer.
Well,
I was like, buddy, I've never heard that. And he goes, man, that's what the old timers used to do. I'm like,
I've heard people do that. There's a guy on YouTube named Catman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who that is.
He does it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Y'all, TikTok is a wild place. It's so toxic. It's absolutely crazy.
I don't even mess with it.
Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to address that real quick, because he doesn't squat when he pees. He doesn't want to have sex with Joe Biden.
He's not a Democrat.
He's not a Democrat. Now, there was one person who said, this guy sounds like he trusts the government. he works for the government, so like he probably
No.
has a healthy distrust for the government because he
Yeah.
works for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the comments are funny. I know
They're entertaining for sure.
Yeah, when it started in the first hour, it was like 2,000. It had like 10 comments, and 7 of them were negative. And I called him, and I was like, "Hey, I think this might do something. So if you can't handle it, I need to take it off right now." And he was like, "Yeah, man, whatever. Yeah, 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 yeah." Blowing a turkey call, and I'm like, "Okay." And then about 3 hours later, it was at 30K, and he was like, "You need to delete that right now." He's like, "These people are assholes," and I'm like, "Brother, we've come
too late,
too far."
pal. Yeah.
It's there. If we deleted it, it'll make it worse. The trolls will pop out, but yeah. So I think that's probably gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah, because I want to go check the clover we planted, if there's not a turkey in that field.
Yeah.
And then I got to get to work.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This has been a wild morning. We saw 2 turkeys fly over us. We saw a turkey here. 2 longbeards fly over us. There was a wood duck in the background. This is the first actual Creekside Conversation.
Yeah. What a podcast.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little nervous that it's 2-3 days before turkey season and we just scared 2 longbeards.
It'll
But
be fine. It'll buff out. I don't think we scared that one. That one putted, but I don't think we scared that one.
Yeah.
That one was like,
yeah,
what? But I think the one up on the hill, I think he'll be fine. I think he just flew over.
well, I'm going on this side anyways Monday, so
Well, they're over there now.
yeah.
Anyway, we have new hats. We still have old hats. Josh is not wearing one because,
It's still packed in my bag.
but we have the Richardson 111.
Eventually, when Mike gets back to us, we'll have those Richardson rope hats in Bottomlands with the new turkey logo.
Well, if he ever gets back to us,
Yeah,
I know
it's baseball season.
I know the new guy said that he can make those.
Okay. Cool.
I'm not trying to deal Mike out, but this guy's more outdoor.
Yeah. I don't care if we
Yeah.
get them shipped from Vietnam, but
Especially since the tariffs are gone now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie T.
But we have new hats. If you guys want a hat, let us know.
I think that'll do it.
Yeah, that's about it. I was thinking about shouting out a couple other people.
Give him a shout out.
You guys head over to Zach Phillips' page, Country Outdoors. Yeah, he's doing he does some pretty cool stuff. I know that I think we're doing a collab with him while we're in Washington. He sent Caleb some stuff from Nomad. It's pretty nice stuff. I know us in particular like the Element Outdoors gear, but there's so many different outdoor companies that you can get, and they're all different. And what's great about them is you can still get mossy oak patterns.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I know deer season's real far off, and a lot of people aren't thinking about it, but Scent Armor, they're it's a real good company out of Ohio. They make some charcoal-based soaps. It's a cover scent. They're not trying to eliminate your scent. They're trying to cover up your scent. It's like a subtle pine tree. I actually just kind of use it.
Yeah. And
all
they
year.
don't just make soap. I mean, they do body lotion, deodorant, your cover spray.
Cover spray. Yep.
I think they have some other products too. And then they have I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's through Scent Armor is like barbecue sauce, like
Schaefer's.
Schaefer's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tied in with that. And I've heard a lot of good things about it. I don't know, I just haven't cooked that kind of stuff here recently.
I think we have a couple more podcasts lined up. I know I might be doing one with Seth Porter this evening. He's kind of been in and around the outdoor space for a while. He had a pretty decent following a couple years ago, and then he kind of disappeared. So
Yeah, he didn't hunt for 3 years.
if he did, no one knew about it.
Yeah.
But I know that he moved down to Greenbrier County, and now he's living in Louisville. But it's a bearded nomad, so I know we're going to have him on. I've been talking to him a little bit. Me and Seth are buddies. And then Paul Agrillo, he's going to be on. I'm meeting up with him on Saturday. So
You guys are going to hunt, aren't you?
I thought about it. I thought we might. I haven't talked to him, but he's headed to Kentucky today.
Yeah.
And then he's meeting up with some guys that he guided down in Arkansas. They invited him and Roll Tide Willie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy you're telling me about.
But I'm not sure if I'm going to that or if I'm going to go hunt Ohio or if I'm going to save money because I just bought a car.
Yeah.
And not go hunt in Ohio and just kind of scout for Monday. So, but anyway, oh yeah, and let's not forget Mossy Oak.
Yeah.
Great guys. We love them.
Give a big shout out to Carolina Tactics Group for having me on their podcast too and doing some shooting with them.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was a fun day.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a long ending of just 3-4 shout outs. So we're going to hop off here. I know Josh is going to run out, check his plot. I'm going to head over to my farm in Lincoln County and see how that clover's doing because I'm so close. And then I think we're going to... You're going to Ohio Sunday, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Just for a little bit, I got to get back and do a Easter egg hunt with all the nieces and nephews.
Anyway, we got a couple more hunts we're going to drop. We have Christian McCormick's youth hunt for his last year of youth. I know we have Jared's Kentucky hunt this year. Jared shot a mullet, shot a turkey in Kentucky.
And I have my tag out from last year.
Yep. Yeah, which I think we're titling Pink Mist.
Yeah, that one was... I obliterated that turkey.
Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you. This has been Creekside Conversations.